Imagine stepping into a crumbling, overgrown ruin. Right. You are just looking for scrap.
Yeah, like a bit of metal or a relic to trade.
Exactly. But instead of an empty room, you walk right into an active kidnapping. A gassed matron and two massive ogres are dragging away a struggling wood elf engineer. Your heart rate would normally spike, right?
Oh, absolutely. Total panic. Fight or flight instantly kicks in.
Right. But if you are Hundolph Berrybush or Hundo, your pulse stays steady. You do not panic. You just start reading the angles.
Because for him, a sudden threat is not a reason to freak out. It is just, a new math problem to solve.
Welcome to today's deep dive. Our mission is to build a complete character dossier on Hundo, the sharp-featured halfling rogue who just joined the crew in session 14. We are pulling from campaign master references, character dossier, and the official story logs.
And when Hundo first arrives on Masikake, he is essentially a ghost. He's this weathered, bearded, solitary scavenger with daggers, a short bow, and these really quick, dark eyes.
Yeah, he is not looking around to admire the architecture. He is practically a living radar system.
Right, counting the exits, identifying choke points. He assesses people strictly by their usefulness or the threat they pose to his survival.
Think about the last time you were in a sudden emergency. Maybe a car swerves into your lane. Does your chest tighten? Does your mind go blank?
That is the normal human response.
Right. But for Hundo, that physiological panic response just does not seem to exist. He is an information broker.
Yeah, he processes his own physical pain purely as mechanical data rather than an actual crisis.
Which perfectly explains how he instantly meshes with Bones, the party's monk, after they both witness Yia, the Ghast, drag off Gabo, the engineer.
They immediately hijack a wind skiff to chase G's crew to an outer island. And the mechanics of this pursuit are just fascinating.
Totally. They are tracking two heavy ogres through dense jungle. Hundo is the one who spots Gabo's escape trail hidden down in the twisted roots.
Not only that, but his hearing is so sharp, he picks up the skittering of a giant crawler hidden inside a hollow tree.
Which is wild. He hears it before Bones does.
Yeah, and Bones is a monk whose entire discipline is built around heightened perception.
But wait, I struggle with the logistics of this partnership. You have two hyper-guarded loners who barely know each other. How are they pulling off a flawless, coordinated jungle pursuit without saying a single word to plan it?
It really comes down to a mutual recognition of terrain and capability. They communicate entirely through action.
Like they're reading the exact same data.
Exactly. When Hundo shifts his weight or takes a specific vantage point, Bones inherently understands the tactical geometry behind that movement. They just do not need words.
And that silent communication pays off massively when they track the ogres to an ancient Shulton cave.
Oh, right, the ritual space where the two undead ogres are chanting over a magical circle.
Yes, amidst those massive carved Ubtao spirals. This fight is where Hundo physically proves his value with what we can call combat geometry.
He does not just run in swinging. He lets the heavy hitters bear the entire load of the enemy's aggression.
It is like a shadow game of chess. He uses the ancient stone pillars to break line of sight, turning the architecture into his personal shield.
Right, and he only strikes at the stress points when the enemy is completely overextended. But the strategy is not flawless.
No, because he takes a brutal, direct hit from one of the ogres, cracking 2 or 3 ribs.
Most fighters would drop, or at least scream. But remember, Hundo's physiological quirk.
Pain is just data.
Exactly. It is a mechanical failure, not a reason to panic. So he alters his breathing.
He takes shallow, rigid breaths, totally shifting his weight off his obliques so he can still draw the tension on his short bow without passing out.
And that level of detached precision fundamentally shifts the dynamic of the Dauntless crew. They already had heavy hitters, but what they desperately needed was surgical, angles-based tactical support.
He fills a massive strategic gap, which is why, when the dust finally settles in that cave, Bones just looks at the battered halfling and says a single word. And he stays. Hundo transitions from a solo island scavenger to an integral crew member, proving his worth through blood and tactical brilliance.
But his integration into the party really leaves us with a lingering question.
Yeah, think back to that detached radar system brain. If Hundo's instinct is to treat severe breath-stealing trauma like cracked ribs as mere information.
Right, shutting off the panic entirely.
What kind of brutal past trauma taught him to completely sever his own survival response? And more importantly, what happens when that suppressed instinct inevitably clashes with the emotional vulnerability required by his newly found family?